Hello everyone, sup I say it's Jimmy here. Today we're on the Dragonflight beta on my warrior, and right now we're about to do a Ruby life pools mythic plus 10 key on the beta. I really wanted to test out how warrior feels to see. I know there has been a lot of talking about how warrior is good, but I wanted to about how warrior is good. I wanted to know how it feels and to see not necessarily if it will be the meta spec, if that makes sense. I play my classes for fun, so this is what this video is basically focusing about. Is me going over the dungeon and how I feel about playing my warrior with it. So this ability that you see here happening right now, that is the that is the new season affix. I think it's called Thundering. Yes, Thundering. So what happens? It basically combines quaking, volcanic, and a little bit of that uh that season one affix, I believe, from Shadowlands, where the we get surrounded by balls that shoot out away from you. So it's a bit of three affixes combined in one. Honestly, I'm not. I don't. I'm pretty sure I'm not feeling it so far, but w- we'll see how it works out throughout the season. I think Blizzard make a blue post about their ideas or what they're aiming for, and I definitely think this affix misses the mark. So these guys, the big guy, randomly casts that an AOE circle on someone, and all you have to do is move out, and he also casts a tank crush ability that you just have to keep your shield block up for. On higher keys, you probably need to use some type of cooldown, but on a 10, I feel just a shield block is good enough. That's the blast you have to move out of. So these ads are pretty basic. They do some AoE damage that goes out, and but there's nothing interruptible. So the only way you stop them is by stunning them, and as in a pug group, that's like not likely to happen. So this is the thundering ability again. It doesn't seem to be on a cooldown. Like unlike quaking that happens, that's predictable, that happens on a cooldown. It kind of just randomly happens. It might be an internal cooldown, but I noticed that there's no rhyme or reason or logic behind it. It just kind of shows up whether you're in combat, out of combat, or if you're fighting a boss or not. It just kind of does what it wants. So it's definitely not one of those, an easy in a pug situation. Maybe in a group content it might be easier because you can coordinate, you can talk to each other. But in a pug, I feel like that's something hard to do um, early on in the expansion because nobody's figured out the pug strategy. But probably later on in the season, it probably won't be too as bad as everyone's complaining right now. So yeah, these small ads aren't too bad. You want to over here in the water. There are these eggs in the water. You want to make sure you don't walk into that because if you do break those eggs, the a bunch of whelpings will spawn. Those infused whelping, and they cast an ability, this blue ability here. If it a stackable ability, if you get too many stacks of that, it freezes you, it stuns you or freezes you, and for a long time. So, want to be careful to not um to avoid standing out avoid breaking these eggs. So these big boys, I feel like they don't hurt too bad right now. We don't really have any affixes beside thundering on right now for this affix. So whether this boss will be, I mean, this ad will be particularly hard on, you know, fortified versus tyrannical, we'll have to see. Whether it's one of you pull by themselves or you pull with a bunch of other little ads for efficiency. So here I wasn't too sure. I noticed that um and you can see me typing in here. I noticed that the dungeon is only 3 bosses long. So I kind of early on I pulled everything because I wasn't sure about the count situation. But definitely ended up being a lot extra. So I probably didn't need to pull both these 2 packs in the corner over here. Like again, this is beta, so that might change. And someone, of course, someone always pulls the mini boss. So this guy, I feel like is not too hard. No surprising tricks. You know, when he casts Flurry, I feel like that's pretty obvious. When you see an enemy casting something like Flurry, that you put up your defensives, but nothing really too surprising or anything unintuitive. You just dodge stuff, dodge AOE. If there's a special or unique ability to look out for, we haven't found it yet because we're only doing 10. So you know the scaling of what hurts and what kind of hurts and what actually will hurt not yet decided. So this is a reason why I kind of dislike the thundering. It kind of just makes things hectic or crazy without really making things interesting, you know? Like it just doesn't feel good in a Mythic Plus situation. Um, there are some discussions going on right now whether will it be hard or will it be easier. But I just don't like it. It doesn't feel good. Um, Blizzard is stepping away from the ideology of doing uh, kind of like season one affixes or like the current affix where players get a benefit from it. Um, kind of stepping away from that word. We don't know if it's just for season one, so that we can get used to our classes or get used to new class designs and stuff, or whether that's a new ideology that they plan on keeping forward, moving on to further seasons or expansions. But either way, that is something that we'll have to deal with. So yeah. Those are the whelpings that I was talking about. Yeah, 9 stacks is pretty high. I was really close to getting stunned there.
Good work, champion. Now that you have secured the pools below, I require your aid above.
It is good to see you, hero.
Okay.
The
So
exposed
yeah, this
light
dungeon is very
grave
beautiful,
danger. A powerful primalist is attempting to
but
learn all the
I'm kind
necessary
of
areas. You must
feel like
clear them to get
short
to me.
dungeons are
I
always
will
kind of
keep
a
watch
double-edged
from
sword.
above while I
That
confront
they're
the
they're
dragon that is
fast,
leading this assault.
but they kind of always tend to be the ones with the most annoying ad packs, kind of like the beginning part of Mao Souls. Um, so if like or like the beginning part of Martyr Souls or the Gauntlet area in Grimrow, Deeport. So this might not. I know. I know everyone's kind of assuming because it's short that this will be the the it key that everybody wants, but usually with tuning, um, the small dungeons usually have the hardest packs to deal with. So we'll see how um, Blizzard ends up Blizzard ends up doing with the numbers. What Blizzard end up doing with the numbers to see what what we can do from there. Yeah, and this mini ad kind of just wipes us. I'm not too sure what kills us. Let me go back and check. Is it the thundering? So it wasn't the breath. Yeah, I think it's just the thundering that got him. Yeah, he was getting hit by multiple orbs. So in this area, you basically go around the mini boss. I mean the boss for this area is kind of locked away, and you kind of have to unlock them by killing all the ads in the circle area. So there are four of them. You just go around in a circle, complete circle, kill everything you see in the circle, because that's where you will be fighting the boss. I'll go into the boss specific mechanics as we get there, but you do need to clear these four ads, and I recommend everything else besides these guys right here. And everything except for those storm callers in the middle, and it should be good and very effective for count. So these ads right here, they are important to know what they do. Um, so one thing to know about these ads is that when they almost die, they do that living bomb ability. Not living bomb, but they cast this gigantic circle. Yeah, it's called burnout. They cast that gigantic circle around him, and you don't want to be standing that
Well
in that
done.
because it
You have
does a lot of
secured the
damage.
first pool. Now
One
see to the others.
a little hint about the next boss will deal back. He spawns one of those ads, and you have to deal with that ad constantly spawning and doing that AOE ability. But yeah, I feel pretty good on my warrior. As you notice, my rage is kind of my rage regeneration actually looks pretty decent. I'm always, I'm not, staying at 100%, unable to bring it down no matter what. It is healthily fluctuating. Um, and this is how I learned not to pull one of those lightning shamans, because they end up just casting all the way in the back. No one's interrupting it. It's just a mess when you can just completely ignore it. You don't need it for count, at least for as of right now. I'm trying my darnest here. This Just to stay alive. No, I may not be a blood DK or a demon hunter, but I try my best. I work with what I got. And I haven't really figured out whether the timing on this dungeon is good or not. Cause well, spoiler alerts. We actually end up being overtime. I'm not, you know, you have had to watch the rest of the video to find out why, but we do end up going overtime. So I don't really have a good idea as to whether or not the dungeon is very forgiving, or do we have a very lenient time stamp. We definitely do have a reason to do Mythic Plus now, especially since now the vault key that you get from doing a plus 20 ends up being like a guaranteed mid mythic gear every week if you do your 20. Um, yeah, if you do your 20s. He also talked about, one sec. Yeah, okay, I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Do not let the primalists
I
desecrate
let the
this
game totally
honorable
distract me
space.
there, or the video totally distract me. So yeah, you going around a circle. You notice how I'm just clearing everything except for those shamans that sit dead in the middle. I ignore them because they don't play into the fight, so they're not really worth fighting. Because you get a whole bunch of you might not see them a lot, but you do get a whole bunch more um, from Home Depot. I'm sorry, I'm losing count. Did I just say Home Depot? Yeah, I think it's time for me to go to bed. So, is there a way for me to temporarily speed this up? Doesn't seem to be right now, but I'll have to figure out a way to set that up later.
You are almost to the master of these minions. Hurry onwards, champion.
And here comes another mini dragon out of nowhere. Yeah, as you can see, this mini boss is all about dodging his breath, moving out of the way of AoE. I haven't noticed any surprise attacks so far, or surprise abilities so far. Kind of reminds me of the third boss, this ad, but we're not gonna spoil that for you yet. Make sure you watch the end of the video. You press that like button and leave a comment to let me know about how do you feel about this type of content or format, and whether you think I should speed up these videos instead of me kind of reacting to my POV live on YouTube. And that ad is in the back, just free casting. I don't know why, but for some reason, something about hunters never interrupting. the range ad so they can run into the rest of the group to do more damage, AoE damage, but it's like they rather just not pad.
The last pool is safe. She is exposed. Attack that primalist.
And so now that we killed all those mini bosses unlocked, and so for this boss, um, like I said earlier, in case you missed it, he does spawn one of those big orange ads. That's it. He's casting the big orange ads. What you do as a tank is you immediately switch over to them and start tanking, and your DPS should burn it down. And as it dies, it will drop a big AOE on the ground on the in the circle after it hits the ground. So I recommend um, the pug strat looks like is going to be a loose stack in order to try to bait the the ruby uh, the ruby or the wedding somewhere else than where it needs to be. Yeah, because it takes up a lot of space if you're not careful. So in a coordinated group, being able to explain that, come up with a plan on the fly, and just be able to execute it, and instead of staying on a train headed for a wreck.
Nothing but ashes. You were warned not to play with fire. We serve life.
So yeah, as you can see, we're at 96 percentile. So we definitely have enough ads here, so that we don't have to worry on later on. As long as you put some things in the prenup to secure. um I'm sorry, I keep getting my head keeps getting mixed up with 90 Day Fiance, and I'm half asleep trying to get this video done. And 90 Day Fiance keeps popping up in my head because I was watching Alinity the other day. I don't know, if you wipe one more time, I might just skip it. But either way, yeah, when a big ad comes up as a tank, you switch to it. You have your DPS burn it down, and then once it's close to dying, it'll do a big circle, AOE circle. You get out of that, cause he will then cause obviously you'll do a lot of damage, but also you'll drop a big mess on the floor that you want to be able to move out of. So, as a group, or whenever the N plus people make their pug routes or pug strategies, it looks like we'll be baiting the circles or the AOE into one spot, so that we have to be more space effective, and not like running around in a giant circle around the area like a madman.
I will honor the sacrifice of my allies and burn through you myself. With their
So
power.
that is the summoning ability. You switch to it, have your DPS burn it down as fast as possible, and then you continue back to normal with the other guy.
Defensive. Run. Shockwave.
Consume my enemies.
So yeah, that fire ability hurts a lot, and then you get like rained down over lightning from above. That with an ability that doesn't provide any strength or power.
Shockwave.
anyway, while this boss,
Defensive.
so basically, um, this continues in a circle for a long while. So whether while that happens, I'll explain um,
Run.
how it feels to play
Shockwave.
on my warrior right now. My warrior is about the. They gave us some starter gear, the tier sets for the warrior, and
Collapse.
at the item level of, I don't remember the exact item level, but the item level that drops off tens, if that makes sense. So appropriate level gear, not overpowered or anything,
Defensive.
or underpowered. It is appropriate level gear, and that felt like completely fine. As long as I won't be able to be as brained as I am
Shockwave.
in Shadowlands, towards the later end of the dungeons, because there's so much haste.
Collapse.
But it definitely does feel good being able to having more ways to generate rage and not be stuck. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead because I think this continues for a while.
Defensive.
So yeah, so eventually I just get tired
Defensive.
of it because the DPS weren't doing what they should do. So I just started going around the whole circle because
Run.
yeah, as a group we weren't really
Shockwave.
baiting. It was a pug, so I'm guessing it was everyone's kind of first time. So there wasn't really a pug strategy. It looks like
Collapse.
as a tank, if your group doesn't look like, if your group's not able to bait them
Shockwave.
properly, then you just go around the circle slowly.
Defensive. Shockwave.
Yeah, that the boss also does a frontal ability. Well,
Collapse.
it's not a frontal. He casts an ability to summon a ball
Shockwave.
right here in front of him, where a
Defensive.
ball basically falls down and rolls forward, and you basically just don't want to stand in the way of that. So a lot of dodging and movement ability
Shockwave.
going on right now. So this dungeon will definitely be difficult on tyrannical. If you have
Run.
additional movement or
You were warned not to play with fire.
um, movement focused or any emphasis that shut you down, that causes chaoticness during that boss fight.
Our fire cleanses.
Let me skip ahead. So yeah, I do eventually get it, and then we move on to the area. So as I said, this area does have a lot of mobs. See, one, two, three, four, on the bridge. That's not even including the one on the small island over there. The amount of people on the small island over there, so you don't have to worry about percentage. You can definitely skip some packs in the earlier runs. So here I'm just trying to take it slow because I don't know what any of these guys do, really. Because there's one thing to do it on normal and heroic, and then another thing on mythic. So going from heroic, going from the heroic version of the dungeon to straight into a level 10, you know, I'd cut me and my group some slack, my pug group some slack if it's not 100% perfect. I'm just going around clearing these casters that you need to kill in order to get the boss to fall down or come down and actually fight the boss. So this is pretty boring. Should I skip it? These guys don't do anything. Eventually, I get caught into the middle pack, and I did not realize, but this guy is a mini boss, so you want to be careful. He does hurt, but you know, he's communicate. Um, it does hurt, but not so much that you get one shot. As long as everyone knows what to do, um, you can avoid some of the damage or prepare for the damage intake by popping a CD or something. So yeah. This is more of just the same, so I'll skip ahead.
Breath
So in
incoming.
phase one, the bosses are separate. You're
Defensive.
fighting the oh, you're fighting the troll by himself, and what he does is as a tank,
Defensive.
you have to watch out for his storming. Let's see what it's called. His storm
Breath
ability.
incoming. Defensive.
Storm slam. Yeah, you want to watch out for that storm slam ability because it does hurt a lot. And it does apply a dot on you. So you have to pop your defensive and have your healer cleanse you or purge you to get that off. And here I'm having some beta issues, some UI issues going on. So in phase two, he hops on the dragon and he starts doing,
Defensive.
the winds.
Breath incoming.
So you want to make sure you're not standing close to the edge. But while he's on the dragon, he's still hitting you. So you still have to watch out for that
Defensive.
the storm slam. Make sure you are defending yourself properly.
Defensive. Breath
Yeah, I
incoming.
here I just noticed that the storm slam did 75k, almost 76k. So it's definitely
Defensive.
something not to take lightly. So while we run back, I'll also go over the rest of the abilities. The boss also randomly gives out a debuff to people, and what that debuff does is once the time runs out, um, you drop a pool on the floor. So and it's one of those things where if you're in a coordinate group, you can kind of work together to figure something out to maximize space efficiency, so you're not running out of space. But in a pug situation, most likely, you'll just have to clear the whole area first, and then slowly move around to any free spots that you see. And I'm not sure how many takes it did take me to get this done, but by the time I did get it done, half um 2/3, two 3.5 um out of 5 of the floor was covered in of with stuff on the floor. So you wanna be careful and be strategic of where you're dropping your pools and where you're putting the tank. So okay, so I guess I noticed here that my gear is red, so I zone out in order to repair. And then I'm on the beta. So on the beta, there is an NPC that teleports you right straight back into the dungeon. because the new zones are still locked on the server that I'm on, testing server that I'm on. Let's skip ahead.
Defensive. Breath incoming.
So yeah, it does a lot of AOE damage going out. So your healer will
Defensive.
struggle because like the pools on the floor, if you're not careful with them, they can overrun you. Plus the storming affix with it randomly raining down, and you have to watch out for the quake, for that circle effect, so you're not standing on anybody else, and the circles that shoot out, and you have to. It's just too much going on with that ability right now. It's too much. They get rid of quaking and necrotic, and they add back something in that's even worse. So I think here I noticed that my team is dead, so I just stand in fire. I'll skip the phase two. So yeah, that is the example of the fire on the floor, and it looks like the wind does end up moving the fire. So be mindful of where you stand. If you're close to the pool, looks like the wind does affect it to some degree.
Defensive. Defensive. Breath
So
incoming.
now we killed the troll. Now we. Oh, I don't think we killed him yet, but once the troll is dead, we just have to face the
Defensive.
dragon, and it's I think it's a little bit easier. After you get past that phase, the
Breath
dragon will
incoming.
test you with some crazy, um, um, some hard
Defensive.
hitting abilities, but as long as you and your healer are up for it, it should be no problem and easily survive. Yeah, I don't see it as um, starting trouble. It's more of
Breath incoming.
everyone's trying to figure out what is the way you're supposed to do things.
Breath incoming. Breath incoming.
It looks like I'm going for a long run here. Well, not so long, but almost done. So there we go. We do finish it. I think we did. So it looks like some crafting resources, and someone got a trinket. So yeah, that was the dungeon. Um, Overall, I do like it. It does look good. Um, it is very short. I mean, it only has three bosses, so it's very short, and that means usually that means Blizzard is going to try to overcount it by buffing the heck out of the ads, which I hope they don't do. I hope it they of course tuning is gonna happen. They're going to mess with the numbers. I just hope that they don't kill the things that are fun, right? I have a feeling that whenever Blizzard nerfs things, cause it's popular, very extremely popular or very strong, Blizzard tends to not just turn the speed dial down. They throw the whole box out. They throw the whole cassette tape or the cassette player out, get a new one, and try to play in it. You know. But either way, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jimmy. Uh, if you like the content, remember to press like, subscribe, and see you guys later. Peace.